Welcome back to Simple English Chat, your favorite YouTube spot for making English learning. Well, simple. I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia. So glad to have you all joining us again today.
Absolutely. Today we will be finishing off our word class series today. If you haven't watched the rest of the lessons yet, make sure to go back and watch the whole playlist so that it all makes sense.
That's a great idea, Leo. Today, we're going to talk about connectives. Now, that might sound like a big, fancy word.
It does, doesn't it? But don't worry, we're going to break it down into very easy pieces. By the end of this chat, you'll know exactly what connectives are and how to use them.
Our goal is always to make things super clear. So, let's start with the basics, Leo. What exactly are connectives?
Good question, Mia. Think of connectives like little bridges or glue for your sentences and ideas. They are words or short phrases that join different parts of a sentence, or even different sentences, together.
That's a great way to put it. They help your writing and speaking move smoothly from one idea to the next. Without them, your English might sound a bit choppy, like short, separate sentences.
Exactly. Imagine you're building with blocks. If you just put blocks next to each other, they might fall apart. Connectives are like the special pieces that lock them together.
So, they make your English sound more connected and natural. They show the relationship between different ideas.
Yes, they show how ideas are linked. For example, if I say, I like apples, I like oranges, those are two separate ideas.
But if you add a connective, it sounds much better. Like, I like apples and I like oranges.
Perfect. And is a very common connective. It joins two similar ideas.
So, how can our listeners spot these connectives when they are reading or listening to English? Are there any easy tricks?
Definitely. One easy trick is to look for words that usually come at the beginning of a new sentence or right in the middle of two ideas. They often act as a signal.
A signal for what?
A signal that a new idea is coming, but that this new idea is related to the one before it. For example, if you see words like but, so, because, first, next, however, or therefore, those are often connectives.
That's a good list to keep in mind. Let's try some examples. If I say, I was hungry, so I ate a sandwich, what's the connective there?
Simple. So is the connective. It tells us the result or outcome of being hungry.
Right. It shows a cause and effect. My hunger was the cause, and eating the sandwich was the effect.
Another one. It was raining outside. However, we still went for a walk.
In that sentence, however, is the connective. It shows a contrast. It was raining, which usually means you don't walk, but they still walked.
You got it. So, connectives help us understand the relationship between different parts of a conversation or a text.
They make your English sentences much richer and more interesting. Instead of just stating facts, you can explain why something happened or compare two things.
Exactly. Let's talk about some common types of connectives and give some simple examples for each.
Great idea. What's the first type we should cover?
Let's start with connectives that add information. These are like saying, and another thing, or also.
Like, and, which we used earlier.
Yes, and is the most common. For example, I like coffee and I like tea. It simply adds one idea to another.
What about other words that add information?
Another good one is also. You could say, I like coffee. I also like tea. Or, she is smart. She is also very kind.
So, also is similar to and but can often be used to start a new sentence or to add emphasis to the second point.
Right. Another one is in addition. This is a bit more formal, but still easy to understand. He is a good student. In addition, he is a talented artist.
So, you're adding more good qualities about him. You're building on the first idea.
Exactly. And for even more formal situations, you might hear furthermore or moreover. These also mean in addition or what's more. For example, the food was delicious. Furthermore, the service was excellent.
So for adding information, we have and, also, in addition, furthermore, and moreover. Those are all words that help you pile on more details or similar ideas.
Perfect summary, Mia. Now, let's move to the opposite. Connectives that show contrast. These are for when you want to show a difference or an opposite idea.
Like the example you gave with however.
Yes, however is a great one. It was cold. However, we still went outside. It shows an unexpected situation.
What's another common one for contrast?
But is probably the most common. I like ice cream, but I don't like cake. It shows a simple difference.
So, but is like a simple however. It connects two different or opposing ideas.
You got it. Another useful one is although or even though. These are similar. They mean despite the fact that.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Although it was raining, we still went for a walk. Or, even though he was tired, he finished his homework.
I see. So, the first part sets up an expectation, and the second part shows something different happened. The rain usually means no walk, but they walked. Being tired usually means no homework, but he finished it.
Precisely. And one more for contrast. On the other hand, this is great when you are comparing two different sides of an argument or two different options.
Like, eating vegetables is good for you. On the other hand, eating too much candy is bad for you.
Excellent example. You're presenting two different sides of the health topic. So, for contrast, we have but, however, although, even though, and on the other hand.
That's a really useful set of words for when you want to show differences or unexpected things.
Moving on, let's talk about connectives that show cause and effect. These explain why something happened or what the result of something was.
So, like your I was hungry, so I ate a sandwich example?
Exactly. So is a key one here. It shows the result. It was late, so I went to bed. Going to bed was the result of it being late.
And what about showing the cause? Why something happened?
For that, because is your best friend. I ate a sandwich because I was hungry. Or, I went to bed because it was late.
So, because explains the reason and so explains the result. They are like two sides of the same coin.
Very true. Another one for effect or result is therefore. This is a bit more formal than so.
Can you give an example with therefore?
Of course. He studied very hard. Therefore, he passed the exam. Passing the exam was the direct result of his hard work.
I see. It's a stronger way to say so.
Yes, it implies a logical conclusion. And one more, similar to therefore, is as a result.
Like, there was a lot of traffic. As a result, I was late for work.
Perfect. Being late was the consequence or result of the traffic. So for cause and effect, we have because, so, therefore, and as a result.
These are super important for explaining things clearly in English.
Absolutely. Now, let's look at connectives that help you put things in order or talk about time. These are called sequence or time connectives.
Like when you're telling a story or giving instructions.
Precisely. The most basic ones are first, next, and then.
So, first, I wake up. Next, I brush my teeth. Then I eat breakfast.
That's a perfect sequence. It shows the order of your morning routine.
Are there any others that are good for sequencing?
Yes. After that is very useful. I ate breakfast. After that, I went to work.
And what about when you want to say something is the last thing?
For the end of a sequence, finally, is excellent. I woke up, brushed my teeth, ate breakfast, and went to work. Finally, I started my day.
So first, next, then, after that, and finally are great for showing order.
They really help make your stories or instructions easy to follow.
This has been a really helpful chat, Leo. We've covered quite a few connectives and explained what they do.
I think so too, Mia. The key message is that connectives are your friends. They make your English smoother and clearer.
Don't be afraid to use them. Start with the simple ones like and, but, so, and because.
And as you get more comfortable, try adding however, although, therefore, or in addition.
Practice makes perfect. Try to listen for them when you watch English videos on YouTube or read simple English texts.
You'll start noticing them everywhere once you know what to look for.
Okay, so to wrap things up, I'm going to quickly go over some of the new words we covered today and give a very brief definition for each. This is a good way to remember them.
Excellent idea, Mia. Take it away.
All right, everyone, listen closely. Connectives, words or phrases that link sentences or ideas together. They are like bridges. And used to add more information or to join similar ideas. Example, I like apples and bananas. Also, used to add more information, similar to and. Example, she is kind. She is also smart. In addition, a slightly more formal way to add more information. Example, the food was good. In addition, the service was fast. Furthermore / moreover, more formal ways to add information, meaning what's more. Example, he is rich. Furthermore, he is very generous. But used to show contrast or an opposite idea. Example, I like cats, but I don't like dogs. However, used to show contrast or an unexpected idea, often at the start of a sentence. Example, it was cold. However, we still went outside. Although / even though used to show contrast, meaning despite the fact that. Example, although it was raining, we went for a walk. On the other hand, used to present a different or opposing point of view. Example, eating fast food is tasty. On the other hand, it's not healthy. So, used to show the result or effect of something. Example, I was tired, so I went to bed. Because used to show the reason or cause for something. Example, I went to bed because I was tired. Therefore, a more formal way to show a logical result or conclusion. Example, he studied hard. Therefore, he passed the test. As a result, used to show the consequence or outcome of an action or event. Example, there was a lot of traffic. As a result, I was late. First / next / then, used to put actions or events in order. Example, first I wake up. Next I eat. Then I leave. After that, used to show the next event in a sequence. Example, I ate breakfast. After that, I went to work. Finally, used to show the last event in a sequence. Example, I did all my chores. Finally, I could relax.
Wow, Mia. That's a fantastic recap. Very clear and concise.
Thanks, Leo. I hope that helps our listeners to remember these important words.
I'm sure it will. Remember, you can always rewatch this episode on YouTube to review these connectives and practice using them.
Yes, watch it as many times as you need. The more you hear and see them, the easier it will become.
That's all for this episode of Simple English Chat. Thank you so much for joining us for the Word Class series. We hope it all made sense and that you learn a lot.
Absolutely. We love having you here and hope that you will stick around for our future lessons and series. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more simple English lessons.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye for now.